Hey guys, it's your International Student Guide here, and today we are discussing credit score. But if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, especially if you're an international student. That way you can learn and get all of the critical information on how to make the best out of your experience here in the United States. So before we can discuss what a credit card is, let's back up and talk about the origin of a credit score and where it derived from. And for demonstration purposes, let's use an example of a transcript, okay? So we can think of a credit score as a transcript. And so normally when you as a student want to apply to university, there are many things that you have to use, but primarily you have to provide a transcript. Now, the reason why you provide that transcript is because the university wants to know about you, your work ethics, your intelligence, and normally your grades don't determine your level of intelligence, but it does say a lot about your consistency, about your characteristics, and just to give a general idea of what you are and who you are. So, and that's basically the main idea of a credit score. So the point of a credit score is to tell lenders how much of a financial risk you may be to their establishment. Meaning, if we're talking in the realm of transcript, if you're a 1.0 student, right? Why would Harvard let you in? Because even if you aren't the smartest person in the world, it shows to them that maybe you aren't consistent. And so if they had a full transcript of your entire school, they could see that, okay, did he have any zeros? Did he have a lot of missing attendance? Why is his GPA the way it is? And then from there, they can evaluate whether or not they want to accept you. It's the same thing. When lenders are considering borrowers complete strangers that they've never heard or discussed to before, two primary concerns are brought up from the borrower. So for an example, if I'm a borrower and I have $500 and there's this card that costs $1,000 and I go to this bank and say, hey, I need to borrow $500 because I want to purchase a car, and I will pay back the $500 in 5 months, and I'll pay $100 every month. And I'll sign a contract to say that if I don't pay up, you can have my car. And that's cool and dandy, but there are two questions and two concerns that the borrower or the bank, in this example, have. Number one is, what's in it for me? So if I lend you money, what do I get back? Like, I will be short of $500 for 5 months. There has to be something in it for me. And that's where interest comes in. And that's a whole different conversation. But you basically have to pay them back a surplus because they're going out of their way to pay you money. Therefore, they need to be compensated for their willingness to borrow you. So the second concern is what we are here for today, is how do I know that you're going to pay me back? Like, sure, we signed a contract that you will eventually pay me back, and if you don't, I get to have your car. But that also means that I have to take you to court. I have to pay people to find a car, and then there's this whole legality of it, and it's very time consuming and it's very costly. And honestly, they don't care about the car. They just want their money. So there needs to be some kind of metric system that is completely objective and that's also provided by a third party that can give you a very non-biased, a very clear, concise report of you and your financial spending, so that borrowers can really decide whether or not they should lend you money. And that's where your credit score comes in. So your credit score is based on a few things. It's based on your payments, meaning if you've had any late payments. If you have anything below like a 95%, saying like you missed 3 payments, like that's a big negative no-no. You never want to miss a payment, even if you pay the bare minimum. Second is your payment history, meaning how long you've had it. And so for an example, if someone has a record of 15 years and they want to borrow money, they will be more likely to be accepted compared to someone who, like, this is your very first loan or the very first time that you want to borrow money. And then third is your line of credit, basically meaning how much money you have in credit on your account. So, and it could be from different accounts. And so this shows that if you have $100,000 and you only want to borrow $5,000 because you don't want to spend cash to get this loan or whatever, then they'd be more than willing to do it. But if you only have $100 in your account and you want to borrow $10,000, they most likely aren't going to do it because that is a big risk in their eyes. And there are a lot of other factors that also account into it too. But those are primarily the big one, and we'll discuss further in our next video on these and how you can optimize your credit score in each section. To sum it up, your credit score is a metric system that's used to evaluate your financial risk or your financial integrity / credibility. And there are different variables in this system that decides your score. So now that we know what it is, we can talk about how it's scaled. So it's based on a point system up to 850. If you have 850, you have like $1 million cash if you have 850 credit score. So anything below 700 is considered bad. If it's below like 650, then that's poor. I actually had 0 credit score because I didn't have any credit history. And if you are like that, then please stay tuned for my other videos where I'll discuss on how to improve your credit score. But anyway, so if you are above a 700, then you're considered great. 750 is golden. And yeah, anything above that is just ridiculous. And honestly, at certain points as a college student, it really doesn't matter. But if your goals are to stay in the US long term, then this is something that you need to pay attention and be active in from right now. That way you can propel yourself into a better position. But that's it. This will be an ongoing segment with a bunch of different videos on credit score. So please stay tuned to the other videos by subscribing to the channel. That way you could be notified. Ring the bell so you can get live notifications. And if you enjoyed or found this video informative, please hit that like button. Comment down below if you want me to talk on anything else. But that's it. Thanks, guys. Wait. There we go.